It is 6:30, Thursday, April 18th, 2024. We now call to order the Historic Town of Eatonville Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. Roll call, Mrs. King.
Yes, Director Williams. Present. Director Randolph.
Present.
Director Mack. Here. Director Washington.
Right.
Director Daniels. Director Creighton may not be here tonight. We took down the emergency. We have Chair Sorry.
Here. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is a presentation. I turn it over to, do you want to present?
Oh, what are you, clerk, you're gonna read those for you?
For the chair of the Unity of Eatonville.
This is for the business.
Oh, okay.
Presentation.
Of the award.
That's fine. In the month of January, the CRA, approved to recognize businesses of the month. The business of the month for the month of April is the Unity of Eatonville Federal Credit Union. Is their representative present? So we're just gonna present you the award and take a group photo if you don't mind.
Let's give them a hand.
Yeah. You want to come out there?
Oh, yeah, however.
Are you, look at everyone.
Yeah, this is, I need everybody in the photo. And. I love you.
You get close. Move to the right.
Yeah, y'all get kind of going to the living room. You want to come over to my right?
Okay.
Maybe 3 steps to my right. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I want to thank you for your invitation in the community. Thank you. So part of the award, once we post on social media, we have commitment from Commissioner Christine Moore to share it, as well as State Representative Anna Escalani, so that we can get more traction to the vision. We will provide with the sign for you without sign. Thank you.
And also, would you like to say a few words let us know what's going on with executive?
Good evening, everyone.
evening.
Thank you so much for having a recognition for Unity. We, the board of board trustees, well, the shareholders, the members, all of the organizations that have endorsed us and supported us, we really appreciate that. We want you to know that we are a part of Eatonville in every way. We have members. This is your bank. This means a lot to us to be to be engaged with the CRA. We're looking forward to working with you. We're looking forward to working, as we always have, with you, Mayor Gardner. And we are looking forward to working with the council, the new and old. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Earl Peter.
Thank you.
Ms. King, do we have any citizen participation?
We have Mr. Anthony Gray.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
Chairwoman and board. This with regard to Unity, do we have any public depositories at Unity? I mean, not being able participating in,
We have not made that switch up. We did, or we have already mentioned it, but we have not made any
that's
switches yet.
That's that you all should consider. I'm here just to speak on the, I believe it's the loan program for, infill home loan programs, that's what it's called. It's a unique and it's an innovative program that was implemented about 4 years ago. At a time that affordable housing was affordable. Now, I would just say that I think it's a great program. I do. I think that it's going to be a challenge for you. And I'm not speaking as a builder, and initially as a new builder 4 years ago. It's going to be, I think it might be a challenge to ask an individual to take out a loan, pay 7% interest and keep a house at the rates of Orange County. I think it's now, Ms. Rose, is it $345,000. In contrast with Orange County just bid it out, just closed last week on 30 lots that they're giving you. They're going to give them to the builder to do affordable housing. City of Orlando, and plus they're going to give you $20,000. City of Orlando is giving you, they're giving you all of the dollars to do the affordable house and turnkey, and it goes back to the city. But they're giving you, the City of Orlando a couple of years ago was giving you up to $300,000 to build an affordable house. And they're giving you these dollars and the lot, and the house goes back to the city. So it's going to be, I'm not saying the program is a bad program, it's a great program. I understand where we were trying to go, especially 4 years ago. But things have tremendously changed with, there's not a lot of affordable housing out there. There's not a whole lot of builders doing affordable housing because there's just not any monies, enough profit into it to do affordable housing. So I just ask that you just keep that in mind. We need to debate this issue. Maybe take a look at some of the other models that maybe may enhance this. So, but I appreciate, and I think it's a great program. I just think it might need some modification. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else?
No, that was good.
The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 28, 2024?
As moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right, the minutes are approved. Board decision number 1. Before I go any further, at your seats there were two documents. One would be item 6 on your agenda. And it was a walk-on, and the other was simply just the same. Since the charter was recently revised and passed, then you have a copy of that as CRA board members as well. So with that being said, approval of resolution CRA-R-2024-13, approving the demolition of 225 West Kennedy Boulevard. You want to read it?
Resolution CRA-R-2024-13. A resolution of the Board of Directors of the Town of Edenville Community Redevelopment Agency, CORA, Edenville, Florida, Board of Directors approving the demolition of 225 West Kennedy Boulevard, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
All right, you have heard the resolution. Is there a motion?
I just got that question.
There's one that will go second. So it has been moved. It's been moved and seconded. Director Wood.
Oh, sorry about that. I see what I know before when this came, before we just had the one vendor, which was on the vendor list for Orange County. I think it was Champion Services, what I've seen before. Have any other contractors submitted any bids for this particular demo or what? Are we still just sticking with Orange County vendor list?
Yes, there was one more. The we followed up and asked for some additional information?
Yeah, and I haven't received anything.
So I mean, we can wait for it.
Just
But-
me, I just feel like if you have companies within the community that do the same work, I'm big on support your own within. So that's just how I feel. You know, if there's some, companies say we wait on information, I'm all for it. But I think let's get that company an opportunity to do their due diligence, to submit the information and bring it back for us. And yeah, let's move forward.
So, wait, Director, James.
Also, I've been a stickler on returning this land back to the family of Mr. Dixon. So in a sense, I won't be supporting this because we should let that family make that decision. Now, with that being said, if we do pass this, then it's an additional fees or cost to the family, to pay us back because in my report, I will go into detail, but I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse. I understand it's an eyesore, I agree totally, but I feel like this decision should be made by the family and we should be making provisions to give it back to them. So if they want to demolish it, whatever they want to do. And I'm just putting that out there as discussion on this thing.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
What was the family when he was about to be put out on the street?
Board member Williams, you said that before, and I do understand that. I do understand that we as a board or as a town took the necessary steps in order to secure the property, which I'm not in favor of, but I understand why the process was done. Now, since we hold all the cards, we have an opportunity to get that back. Because the only thing that I'm having a problem with is the competency of Mr. Dixon. He was not in the position to make that decision.
Are you a
Now,
psychiatrist?
according, I understand that. I understand where you're going, Mr. Williams. But you also, on that video, was heard saying that he thought he was a fireman because he portrayed himself as a fireman, but he wasn't. Also, at the time of the vote, board member Davis was a stickler on saying, Mr. Johnson, executive director at that time, are you sure that Mr. Dixon understands what's going on with what we're doing right now? She said it multiple times. And when they took a recess, and I wish that we would have the notes on the executive director and the attorney, remember when they took a recess to go in the back and talk, I really would like to know what they had to say about this issue. Because it was a question, because if it wasn't, I think that you would have went right through with it. Now, I understand why the executive director didn't. Now we are in the position to do the right thing. Because anybody that's a resident of the town of Beanville, I'm talking about born and raised, you, myself, we know that there was and I'm not a psychiatrist, but we knew that there were issues with Mr. Dixon in his understanding of what this deal was. Now he's gone right now, so we couldn't have him in front of a psychiatrist to give us that. But anybody board members know that Tommy was not, Mr. Dixon, I'm sorry, was not in, I wouldn't say the right frame of mind, but he didn't understand what was going on. And with that being said, you're saying a elderly and possibly mentally challenged person agreed to this deal. And I feel as though we did that to save the land. I understand what y'all are saying. We're with the family. Now we have the opportunity to find the family and make it right with them. Hey, what you want to do with this? And I keep saying that if we make it right with them and they want it, whatever we put into this deal, we get it back. So it's a can't lose. We watched out for a mentally challenged resident of the historic town of Beaverville. Now we can get our money back. And family, what do you want to do with the land right now? Maybe they want to sell it back to us. Maybe we have an opportunity to do it right with competent people that understand the ramifications of selling this land and the money, the financial benefits as well.
Director Randolph and then Director Matt.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Since the last time that we discussed this issue, it really felt really strongly on my heart because I understood about the situation and how those things occur. And ever since that last meeting that we discussed this issue, I have personally, that particular location of that house is only 2 blocks from where I live. And I have personally have gone to that house 3 times since we left this meeting. And I would like to say that that house is in such a deterioration condition. It would be a lot of money to try to restore that particular dwelling. We're in the process right now of trying to improve our community with all of these dilapidated homes and these structures that need to be demolished. And I do understand, I do have a heart for what you're saying, Director Daniels, and I agree with that. However, on the other coin, when you toss the other side of it, in the last meeting, it was asked a question, whether or not the town legally owns this house. Have we been through the process? Because we do not want to make any mistakes to cause any kind of suffrage on behalf of the Dixon family. My question was directed to Mrs. Rose, and she confirmed that everything is in the hands of the town and we are done. Also, our attorney, he also confirmed that as well. So my feelings are this. First of all, you need to deal with this issue. The other issue that you're speaking of, that has a new process that has to be dealt with. But we're talking about the demolition of this particular structure. And from what I can see, I had to pray about it. Because I do have a feeling about what happened. But right now, we're not here to address that part. So this particular portion here has to be dealt with. And I just think it's an eyesore in the community. People are still going in that. In fact, the other morning, I saw some person over there early, 7 o'clock in the morning when I took a walk to the park and I went around the other way. So we need to deal with this structure and be through with it and we need to move on. And then these other matters need to be taking place at another setting. That's all. And thank you.
Okay, no problem. If I could add, I would like to kind of piggyback on what Director Williams was stating in terms of just having other people have an opportunity to come a process of the bidding when it comes to things of the nature of demolition, especially this particular project right here. And I also would like to just make this statement also. Director Daniels, I don't know how often you talk to the executive director of CRA, but according to everything that I've learned and gathered, even sitting on this board last time, it's illegal for us to actually get a property back. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And for a lot of reasons. And like I said before, I don't know how often you talk to Ms. Shan Rose, but I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with her, and she kind of discussed with me even already knowing the situation that occurred, that it is illegal for us to get a property back. And also, my attention would like to also go to Attorney Jackson in terms of, I guess, paperwork or something not being filed in a timely manner to put us in a position of, I guess, having Mr. Dixon still tied to the title, if I can say. Even though it's CRA that actually are the ones that own the property, but for some reason, Mr. Dixon is somewhat still attached to the title. And the reason I was told that had occurred is because it wasn't properly filed for whatever reason. But I say that to say this right here. I think we're doing the right thing by demolition. with this property right here because it's a blighted area. I think it's gonna be unsafe for us to just even continue going down the avenue of even having this property sit in the condition that it's sitting here, and us as directors not doing anything about it. So with that being said, it's illegal to get a property back to any family members, for one, right? And by us being the owner as a CRA, I think we need to do our diligence in moving forward with and getting this property demolished. But I wouldn't want to vote on it right now because I would like an opportunity for other people within our town to have the opportunity to become a part of the process of the demolition.
The Grant Tree Services has partnered with Swinswell. The item was in my spam box, so if you all would like to, I can share the pricing with you. It is cheaper, it's $600 cheaper. And so I can share the proposal, put it on the record of how much it is, less than the one that's in the pack.
Yeah, I think that's the most educated thing to do in terms of us making a decision, especially an executive decision to move forward, trying to save the CRA side funds and doing this particular project. So I think that's something that you can probably share with us.
Yes, so it's 11, so what's in the packet is 11,750, and what's in the proposal that we received is 11,175, so it's a little less than $600 cheaper.
Okay.
So I'll make sure everyone gets a copy before the end of the meeting, and then it goes on the record. The name of the company is Bella 41. It's the name of the company that had submitted, if that's what you all would like to go forward with.
Okay, that'll definitely be up to this board. Now, what we can do is we can table this item, bring it back with that particular vendor on it, or we can move forward with possibly.
Just my clarification, it's, even though that information is here, it just states that you reached out to Champion Services, because I was under the impression we were in talks with the
Right,
second
but we're
vendor.
actually not. We
But
just,
this approval to me today is just to approve the demolition.
okay, so we're not actually having a vendor that's actually in motion to do it.
Right, it does say that it was reached out, but I know just from conversations, and we knew that second vendor was out there.
But my problem that I had is that this is the only vendor that we had, so in any event, I just wanted to make sure that was going by protocol and my sense of thinking to reach out within our community to make sure that we had someone in place, whether they can do it, well, of course, they gotta be certified to do the job, but I just didn't wanna sit here and not have those people have an opportunity, whether it's one or two or whoever that wanted to decide to do the job.
So if I would ask as staff for recommendation, it would be to choose the vendor that's the cheapest, up to $12,000. That way we can move forward. That way I have the approval tonight to move forward with demolition with whoever's the cheapest, and then I can make sure you all get a copy of the cheaper demolition.
Yes, thank you so much. And then I know it's something that I also wanted to add, and I won't be long. Being that we're on this demolition situation, I think we need to probably appropriate a lot more, more money into this particular program that we do have. That way you can say whomever it is that's trying to get the blighted houses or whatever torn down, get them to save more money on the back end of it. Because
But you're talking about for the demolition program?
yes,
Okay,
but that's something I just want to toss out there.
because that was already approved.
I
So
understand, I'm talking about
got
for future reference.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Can I address something real quick? I believe that there was a question about the property being filed or improperly filed. Just want to be clear, I didn't file that with the property appraisal office that was done by prior counsel. The other issue though is when I hear that someone says that it's illegal for the CRA to sell property, that's incorrect. If you go to section 163.380 subsection 1 through 3, it talks about how the CRA can dispose of property to include the sale, lease, dispose of, or other transfer of real property, or other interest therein. So CRAs can actually sell property. It is not illegal for a CRA to sell property pursuant to this provision. And this actually came up back in March 17th of 2023 when the question was asked then with the prior executive director and the CAO of the town. And I provided them with this information. So it's not illegal for a CRA to sell property, and any issues with the transfer of the property, that was from prior counsel. Now, the other thing too, and I've also made this very clear, that there are conflicting views of this board. that need to be resolved. And I've said that multiple times. I've said here multiple times, I said that there are conflicting views of this board. That's one of the reasons why when the letter was written from the individual who represents the family to have the property conveyed back to the family, I could not act because there are conflicting views. As a matter of fact, in March of 2022, there was a vote by this board to return the property back to Tommy Dixon, not the estate, but back to Tommy Dixon. So there are things that need to be clarified in order to determine what needs to be done to move forward. Now, my opinion is based on what is taking place up to this point, because this board was following the advice of legal counsel. And just so long as the board prior to this board was following the advice of legal counsel, they're fine. I'm not going to speak as to what I would have done because that's something totally different. But what I will say is that there are issues that need to be resolved in order for this board to determine what it wants to do and how it wants to move forward. And I just wanted to just clarify.
If I can, I need to say this, just to rebut on that. Listen, last time I was dealing with this situation, I wasn't sitting on the board because we had an independent board, which I think I think it worked out better having an independent board, if you ask me personally. Now, I know we had a lot of conflict in terms of this Ms. Dixon property, even when we sent out as a elected official and watching everything that occurred and took place. It was distasteful for me just to see all the things that had taken place in terms of the way it was handled. Now, you've been an attorney at that time, the time that I wasn't in the office. There was a lot of different direction that you had taken that I wasn't too much in agreement with. But of course, we're gonna always take the best advice from legal, which is yourself. But I don't feel like you was doing your due diligence in terms of letting us know exactly what it is that we need to know as a town, as a CRA, and as a board. Now, with that being said, you're telling me that it's not illegal for CRA to not sell the property. Could you, and I know you read the status under the Florida statute, but I could recall you saying something different on the last time we sat up here and I was out in his audience. And that's all on the record, but I'm trying to chant on what exactly it is that you're trying to insinuate in terms of the property not staying with the CRA. And you're telling me that if anyone outside of the CRA, which is a cousin, uncle, whomever, you're telling me that they are qualified to get the property back? Now, I was told that it was illegal for them to get the property back, according to everything that had been handled on the CRA side. So can you explain that to me?
Oh, no, it's illegal to give it back.
Right.
They can purchase it back. We can't give it back to
That's
them. That's the legal part.
okay.
We can give it back. We can sell it back.
Right.
Or the price we want
Well,
to
you
sell
can't
it.
just give it back.
That's the problem. You can't give it back.
Right.
That's what,
No matter who
that's the
it
word
is.
you said.
You said sale.
Okay, and I do apologize. I correct myself.
That's
I
why
correct
we're
myself on the record for that, if I did say that. But it is to give back.
That's-
Okay. And I do apologize if but yeah, that's all I got for now. So, but it was just it's a touching situation, and hopefully we can clarify everything tonight. And if not, it's just something that we can probably table and probably come back to. See what happens.
In that statute, it does not state for public good,
We said public good, but I mean,
meaning that if you're going to use the property, if you're going to sell it, then it needs to be for public good.
so
So
what
it's not an individual.
what I can do is, because I don't want to just give you all just an off the cuff, I can read you the statute, but I want to make sure that if you want a written opinion, something that you can take, let me do that, so I can address that specific question. It does not make that distinction. If you're saying that the only way you can sell it is for a public good, that distinction, but let me brief this for you and let me give you the proper language from the statute.
So you want to stall it again?
No, the
No,
board can vote.
Attorney Jackson, this is not a new situation at all. Even that statement I just made is not a new statement. And by you now saying that you can get back with an opinion, this is on the agenda. This same conversation has been had several times. You should have come with an
No,
opinion.
that has nothing to do with this, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
What
on
I'm
this
saying is-
conversation, you know, we always, every time, this is always a difficult situation. Anytime it's been on the agenda, the conversation leads right down that same path. And that opinion should have been prepared for. I'm not going to debate that with you, but I think the stalling efforts have got to stop.
Right.
And this is coming back up again in this meeting.
I didn't say anything about stalling or not doing it. That was a comment made by a board member to table. I have not said anything about tabling this issue. I've already said, and I gave the opinion last week, does the CRA own this property? Yes, it does. I've already said that. I've said nothing to say that this board cannot vote tonight. You've asked me a question of, the statement was made that the property is illegal to sell the property. And I wanted to, I just want to make sure that I'm clear. And I wanted to make sure that I clarified that it's not illegal to sell this property. And I cited the statute. I never said that this board could not move forward with this decision to vote. You can still move forward if you want to do the demolition. The only thing I've said that it mentions a specific entity in here that you would want to correct. You can move forward with the vote. That's not an issue. When you ask me a
I
question,
get it.
let me,
That's what you're saying.
yeah, let me answer that's the specific question you asked. So you all can still move forward with the vote. It doesn't change what you're doing tonight. I'm just answering your question, that's all.
Okay. Dr. Danielson, then something else?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Director Washington.
I'm sorry,
All right.
but I think some of my questions have been answered. We definitely need more vendors on demolition. People in our community. I'd like to see that, make sure we get that. Like I said, I want to see one service in here, contractor in this file. But I will support them on this house. Still need to find someone to do it that we chose to do. I hope we find somebody in our community to do it. But I say the same thing I said before about the property. It's on record, so I don't have anything to say about it.
Justin, please say. All right, so in regards to to amending this resolution, because I always thought it was just for the demolition, because I know that the conversation was being had with other vendor. So we can just amend it to note that it's just for the demolition up to $12,000.
Yeah, so for the fiscal, I mean, it's 11,750. So we're gonna say whoever's the lowest bidder, because it doesn't, the actual resolution does not specify a company. So I want to explain, so Director Washington, just to explain, so to date, we don't have a vendor within the town registered with any kind of continued services. So this week, after the agenda was posted, we did receive a request from Grant Tree Services to be one of the vendors to do the demolition. I responded that I needed credentials and I received those credentials. And so that's why if we can leave it the way it is, because it doesn't specify and it could be whoever the cheaper, if you want to amend it to say whoever the cheaper vendor is, that's fine as well. But the actual resolution doesn't list any, well, it does. Actually, section 3 does. It says pursuant to the piggyback resolution. And so the reason why they were chosen is because by all of our policies and procedures, we are allowed to use Orange County vendors without having to go out and seek bids. So if you all want to amend section 3 to scratch out Champion Services and just say the lowest bidder to demolish the house, that's fine.
Yes, that's what I'm in agreement with.
Okay.
So the work will be with that, with the lowest.
Yes,
Is that question for the attorney? That fair? Because if someone sees this and they clearly say champion is 11,000, they go, I go 10,999. Is that fair?
I'm assuming that the bids will be private.
So we didn't have a bidding process, right? And so legally, when I'm at, and any amount of money, if I came to actually spend $1 million, if the board approves spending the money, then I'm allowed to spend the money. So what I used at the time when I presented this last month was Orange County's, we're legally allowed to piggyback for Orange County. It doesn't matter how big the job is. We do not have to go out for RFP if the Orange County already has a vendor. We received an email about Grant Tree Services wanting to do the actual job, and they came in low, they presented a lower bid. It was asked of me by administration to find out all of the credentials. Ultimately, Grant Tree Services did not submit. They have a partner that they use and they submitted for a lower bid. So if the board, it's up to the board if the board would like to go with the who we received this week or whoever, and I would say it would be the lesser of the two because we have as to date, we've received 2 quotes. So if we want to say, the board would like to say, whoever is the lesser of the 2 quotes that we received to date, then that's fine as well.
My, like I said, we need to get past this, but my reason for wanting to accept grant tree service because it's within our town, for one, right? And then on top of that, it's the cheaper bid, which makes sense to me logically. So for whatever reason, and we appreciate Champion for, wanting to come over and do the job if that was what the direction we was going in, but if we can, fiddle and doing something within our town for a cheaper price and for someone that's actually here with us in our community, I think it just makes sense logically to go that direction.
Let me just say one thing quick. I think just for future reference, it's going back to the council members. I think the town needs to adopt a local vendor preference. That if we don't have to go through all of this here, you know what I mean? Just, just for future reference. I've seen it before, dealt with it. Even though outside can be the lower bidder, that local vendor is gonna get that bid. So just for future reference, I think that's something the town needs to adopt. Local vendor preference. So what is it?
So I can give you, clerk, I can give you the name so we can have it on the record. And I'll state the full sentence to amend section 3. So as of today, under section 3, Champion Services of Florida LLC and Bella 41 Property Partners LLC submitted proposals for the demolition. Bella 41 Property Partners LLC, DB in partnership with Grant Tree Services, has submitted the lower bid for $11,175.
That's the amended content for section 3. For the record.
So it's been moved and seconded approval with the amended language.
Oh, we're not gonna allow any other vendors to bid on this, or we just go on these 2?
To date, that's all we received. It was put out last month that there was a demolition, there was an opportunity for demolition, and we only received 1 other person who was interested.
Did you get that one? When you get grants?
This week, Monday, I believe.
And not chance, put everything.
Champion went in from last month, back in March.
I think you should, see if you have any other business that want, let's make us Champion did once, we got this coming in Monday. Give people a fair chance to bid on it or compete on it, I mean, do say.
So then we go
the deadline.
It's a demolition. I would like to demo. I would like if the board would like to demo, we demo sooner rather than later.
So let me just keep it the amount,
Okay.
and then we work out if you want the proposals to come back for review in regards to who does it. But tonight we just do the amount up to a certain amount. Would that be fair?
I don't agree with Director Washington. What I do agree with is Mr. Director Williams on regardless. And this is just my take on it. I don't care if it's $500 less. I want to take care of the people within my town. That's just my opinion. Now, we can go whatever way we want to go. It's not my just decision. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only vote up here. But if you're gonna ask me my opinion on which direction we should go, I think we should take care of people within our community that are qualified, right? You don't have Orange County coming over here trying to get us for bids to go over there and do anything. And I know we're piggybacking, and that's why we came up with this company Champion, which is great, right? But you got another company that is more qualified to do the job, and I think it's a no-brainer. Just my purpose, and I've been in Deville all my life. I wasn't born here, but I've been here since I've been 4 years old. So I feel like my matters also.
I'm asking a question. When did this, what was the opening date and the closing date?
So this never went out for bid. So legally, the CRA and the town, or any municipality within Orange County, is allowed to go to the vendor services that Orange County goes, and we do not have to go out for bid because Orange County has gone through the bidding process. So Champion Services LLC was the group that was approved vendor by Orange County government. So Orange County went through the RFP process. Our The law allows us to piggyback, and that's what's written in the resolution. We are allowed to, and within our interlocal agreements are our governance, and the interlocal agreement says that we can piggyback off of any services that approved vendor is approved at Orange County. We are allowed to use them for any kind of services. So we had tree services we needed, engineering services, code enforcement services, yard services. Legally, we do not have to go out for bid. We can piggyback up to $250,000. We can piggyback off of what Orange County is using. So ultimately, what I did was in February going into March, that I received complaints from the chamber of the activity and that they didn't feel safe and that there were a lot of concerns. Am I correct?
Yes, you are absolutely correct.
There were concerns with the activity and the traffic. So I saw it. I went to Orange County. They had a demolition vendor, reached out to them, asked them, would you like, can you please give us a quote to demo the home? Backup. Universal Engineering Services came out and did an inspection on the home and deemed it unsafe. We put stickers around the home, and since that time, there is still activity at the home. So went to Orange County because we do not have a vendor list. We don't have to my knowledge, and I've requested, the county being built does not have a comprehensive vendor list. So what I'm legally allowed to do is through the interlocal, I'm allowed to go to Orange County and whatever vendors that they have vetted through their process, and it is not easy to become a vendor in Orange County. So through their vetted process, the Champion Services is the group that is their vendor. That's their licensed vendor. That's the vendor that went through the entire RFP process and really was their code enforcement department who sought the demolition company did the RFP. I asked them for a quote after we received the report from Universal Engineering Services, who was our permitting department and our building official. We were told that the building was unsafe. I reached out to Champion Services and said, can I please get a quote? I presented it to the board. There were some concerns during the March meeting. I was asked to bring it back to this meeting. The agenda went out, if I'm not mistaken, on Monday. It was posted to our website.
Yes.
And what else?
Before today, last Thursday.
Okay. So ultimately what happened is earlier this week, I received an email from Grant Services with a quote requesting to do the demolition on the site. Literally, I can read the email because it came in this week. It came in on Monday at 9:57. They were requesting with a quote from Grant Tree Services requesting to do the demolition on the site. It was asked of me to please go to get there. I've spoken with administration about it. It was asked that I please get all their certification and licensing. They ultimately contacted Bella 41, who's their partner, who does the demolition because they're not licensed to do, Grant Tree Services is not licensed to do demolition. So they have a partner within their organization that they use, which is Bella 41 Property Partners LLC. I received the quotes, I received the proposal, which was several $100s cheaper than what Champion Services of Florida LLC had submitted. So that's where we are today. So I received the email request came in on Monday from Grant Tree Services. I sent over Monday requesting their previous demolition work, their contractor's license, proof of insurance, and it went into spam, but I did receive an email back from Bella 41 Property Partners LLC that they've done past demolition work with Mrs. Cecile Ellen, 6 homes for United Church of God by Faith, Macedonia Church. And then they said that they partnered with Grant Tree Services and they sent in the demolition proposal.
All right. So are we going to approve an amount so that we can get this bid and all of that cleared up? So we can go ahead and approve demolition and then get that cleared up?
I'm just saying, you guys been talking about demolishing this property for some time now. You want to sit up there, like you said, keep delaying and putting things on hold. You're not going to move forward with getting anything done if you continue doing that. My job is to sit up here and get things. And we can't sit here and keep sitting on our hands and wishing for this or wishing for that. We're at a position now where we can make a decision. And I think the decision that needs to be made is the one that we proposed already, the one that she had read out according to the 2 bidders that we had, regardless if they did it last month or if they did it Monday past. And my forte has always been taking care the people within my community, first of all, right? And then especially if it's on a, lower scale, that's gonna be more feasible for, the CRA side. So, that's my take on it. And that's what I'm moving on.
And that's the motion that's on the floor right now, is the approval of the resolution with the language that was stated earlier.
Correct.
That's what's on the floor, on the floor right now.
Yes.
So are we ready to go forward with the vote?
Yeah.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, next item on the agenda. So resolution 13 has been approved to demo and go with the second bid. All right. Approval of resolution CRA-R 2024-14, approving the transfer of funds in the amount of $200,000 for the pilot infill home loan program. Ms. King.
Resolution CRA-R 2024-14. Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Town of Eatonville Community Redevelopment Agency, TOFRA. $200,000 for resolution CRA-R 2019-21, the pilot infill home loan program for property owners of 3 lots or more, setting an interest rate of 7%, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
All right, you have heard the resolution. Is there a motion? Move.
Second with question.
It's been moved and seconded, Director.
My question on this particular item here, great program, because it's something that, I kind of championed while, I was in, office, last time. And I think it's a great infill loan if we had a particular lots. Now, I did have an opportunity to speak with, the Executive Director, Ms. Shan, and, discuss my matters on how I felt about this particular, item here. I think it's good and bad, but my, thing on this particular one right here is, I think we need to probably, just my opinion, and I know we didn't discuss this yesterday, but I think we need to go in the direction of possibly, especially with me just sitting up here my first time, on this particular, meeting, is to probably table it and probably have some more discussion in terms on which direction we really need to go, because, like I heard a, resident said earlier, great opportunity for people to, do, but the housing market has really changed a lot. It's actually changed tremendously. So yesterday's price is not today's prices, so we're in a different ballpark in terms of how we can structurally use this, particular pilot program. Now, I was all for it, it still is, but I think we can possibly, do something a lot better for the people that are willing to, come over here and build. And like you said, with the possibility of partnering with, Macedonia perhaps, they got 16 lots, right? So if we can get in a position of, and like the CRA is, to give money that's gonna enhancely make this community thrive and grow and redevelop. And that's what the funds are there for. So my, take on it would be to come up with a better solution to use the funds that would be more beneficial for the developers coming in here, that would be helping us get to a better place and be more sustainable. Now, I know we're gonna have different opinions, but that's just my opinion on how I'm looking at it. And like I said, I'm not the only one that is gonna be making decisions, but that's just my own thoughts on that.
So to answer, so I guess to make a statement, this is not for developers outside, this is for developers and landowners within this town. So there are several, massive landowners here. I've had conversations and the individual said that this is a jumpstart that they need to actually start housing. So several projects have been stalled and have not had housing because of it. This intent is to fill a gap. It isn't to actually build a house. It's those who have started the process to build homes. So for own 3 or more lots that you can build homes on. It's to kickstart the development, and I've spoken to some of the developers, and it's something that would help them to kickstart, and they would be glad to jump in and do an application.
Okay, great, and I appreciate your opinion on that. I know we had a pretty thorough conversation, pretty productive sit down meeting. But my thing is, I know you say you piggyback on a lot of things that Orange County does, right? Are you aware of the pilot program that they have associated with piggybacking on giving a certain amount of money up to like $20,000 to $25,000 for developers within our town that want to develop and perhaps build single family homes or whatever it is, that they're intending to do. Are you aware of that program?
I am, so I would say this, we're not fiscally and financially stable as Montgomery County government. So what we are doing is, so let's backtrack. So this resolution was passed several years ago, and it had come to me by one of the directors, and they asked me to fund the program that had been approved. Because the pilot program was approved back in 2019, and so it was just funding. And so that's been my commitment since being hired, to look at the programs that we had approved but had not been funded. So when we did paint, plan, and pave, it was an approved program that just had not been funded. So when this came to me, one of the directors said, look into it. I looked into it. It was already approved in 2019. Literally, this is just putting funds into an existing program.
Right, and if I can say, I'm the one that kind of champions this particular program, the one that you got on the board now, we're on the agenda. And like I said, it's a great program, right? It was great 4 years ago, but like I told you before, I think we need to position ourselves to do something a lot different and broad to really help the people that are trying to develop by giving them, which is a grant, giving them a grant up to $20,000 to $25,000 versus the 7% that they have to pay back on top of the $100,000 that they get. And I know you say that we're not in a financial position to possibly do that, but these funds are coming from Orange County, and I think we need to appropriately use the funds accordingly. Now, you're telling me as an executive director that we're not in a position to do what I'm asking to do with giving $20,000 to $25,000 to developers that want to come over here and develop, and well, not outside, but within our community. So I'm trying to make sense.
So the program that was referenced was giving land as well as money. So we don't have the land to give. Ultimately, what we're doing is incentivizing those who have the land, who want to build, have the desire to build, who have the plan to build. We're giving them $100,000 to help them build with a 7% interest. Ultimately, right now, the cap is $345. So if a person is building a house and it costs them $200,000 to build a house, they're giving us 107, and they have the potential to make $145,000 profit off of one home within our community.
Right, which is a great program, like I said, but listen, I'm gonna let someone else voice their opinion on it, but this is just how I feel about it. I'm sorry. And, I have questions, and I know we had a lot of dialogue yesterday with speaking, but I'm very long-winded when it comes to, doing things in this community, I promise you, seriously.
Director.
Yes, I think it's a great program. My only reservation that I have, and I think that 7% interest is a little too much. I was looking at maybe somewhere around 5% or more. So that's what I think, but I think it's a great program. Thank you.
Director.
I think, since housing market's too high, since everybody talking about 300,000, and I would say, well, we can't afford this program. If people saying it costs this much to build, we're giving you $100,000. We're not trying to give you all your money to build your house. If you don't want the $100,000, that's all we can give you. I know it, like I said, the property is the products, material is higher. We just can't do this program. That's how I see it. People saying they don't want $100,000. That's how I look at it. So if it's cost $300,000, that's affordable now. We ain't trying to give you $340,000 to build a whole house. This program just help you with $100,000. So if my issue is if the developers or the private owners don't want to go to this program that don't fit them, don't get into it, because I support the $100,000 helping them out. We ain't trying to give you all your money to build that house. And I do agree with 7%. So I mean that's a kick in the bucket. But like I said, I mean, it ain't gonna cost you $300,000 to build a house. You're making profit on the house regardless. So if the house market is higher, we don't need to do this program.
Ms. Shannon, if I can, this is gonna be my last thing on this. What if we get to the position of even trying to work out some kind of workshop to kind of like, give a dab on exactly what it is that we can do, even if we come up with other ideas, what to do with this particular project card, I don't wanna just toss it out, right, and say, do away with it, because it is a great program, it really is. But I think we need to sit down and really have some discussion on, cause especially me, just getting up here, I wanna have a little bit more dialogue on exactly what it is that we can really do to make it make sense. And I can appreciate you for bringing it to the floor, for discussion and, to perhaps, go ahead and utilize too, but I think we just need to probably table it and come back to it. My opinion.
It just seems like it's two different requests. I think that this program will be attractive to those that it's gonna be attractive to. And the $25,000 program may attract someone else. It just seems like we're talking about two different programs. And it would be worth looking into developing another program for $25,000. Because if a developer just wants $25,000 as a grant and they don't have to pay it back, then that must mean they must have money to build. In which case, they don't need $100,000 to help them build a house. That's another program to attract builders with money to come in. But if you look at what's going on with the demolition program already in the works, this could attract someone that has a dilapidated home wanting to get it removed off their property, but then knowing that once that comes off the tax roll, hey, here's a program that you can have another home built there, sell it, and give back the money plus 7%.
But you gotta think about the impact fees also that are associated with, building, because it costs, and then for us to just sit here and say, okay, we'll give you $100,000, but you're not getting $100,000 totally right now, it's in increments. So it's like, once you build a foundation, you get $25,000. Once you build up the structure of it, you get another $25,000. So it's a process, right? So, like I said, either or with the programs that we have, I think both of them will be great programs. So just imagine just getting the $25,000 that you don't have to pay back this particular developer, right? Versus getting $100,000, you gotta pay 7% back, which is increasing a lot of money, like Director Randolph said, maybe we need, if we're gonna go to that direction, maybe we can lower it a little bit as far as percentage wise. But no.
I just got a question. Is there still a moratorium on building within the town?
We are looking at Attorney Shepherd. We should be at the end of that report, knowing that we need to adjust the dates.
Okay.
But and it's not a CRA item, but
Well,
looking at releasing part of that so that the residents.
I mean, you talking about giving money to build and all that, they can't build because there's a moratorium. It don't make sense to do anything.
But I think that probably will be taken.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
that's food talk.
Yeah.
So, but I think I love the program. Everyone has some type of concerns, one way or another. I think we do some kind of workshop, more or less, so everybody gets on the same sheet of music and what we want to do.
yes,
And on the flip side, you all do what you all need to do, and we can move forward.
I agree.
Director. Oh, that's where your finger goes up. All right, so I guess we have a couple of votes.
There was only one vote on the table, and that was to approve it with questions.
And that was me.
So the vote right now is as stands, right? So the motion on the floor is to approve the resolution, the infill lot program as it stands. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Okay,
I'm gonna say nay.
Yeah, so we still can come back
Right.
with a program.
I think we should just take the item, it would have been simply done, like, what's the rush? Make it make sense.
Well, at this point, just funding. It's funded. If it's not used, then the money is there.
But I think like Director Williams said, it's something that we should have actually just sat down and workshop, you know? It's just as simple as that. I think we just gotta sit there and make logical decisions instead of just making erratic decisions based off of feeling like you have to.
But-
You ain't gotta do it, you ain't got to.
But direct,
That's what this meeting's for, to have discussion. To talk about things instead of rushing into making executive decisions, especially for the citizens of this community. We gotta make sure that we're making wise and educated decisions versus sitting here rushing, doing a rush job. That's what I call it, a rush job. You know, we gotta have some kind of dialogue on how we're gonna position ourselves and moving forward, with doing things that's gonna be sustainable for this community. That's my job.
For clarification, this is for the amount, 7%. Yes,
Get it, go.
It'll be,
okay, this,
yeah,
yeah, so
within 3 feet.
this is including the 7%.
this is as presented.
Never been changed.
However, I do
My
ask,
point.
that we can still have the workshops before it's utilized, but it is funded. We still have the workshops.
So for the record, so that I'm clear, we have 4-2 vote. Yes.
Yes.
For the transfer of funds.
For the transfer fund.
Yeah.
But we will workshop it before anything is utilized, as well as still into, hopefully the 25,000 program.
I mean, that's the program you have to add. 25,000.
It's different, it's different.
So different, yeah,
Yeah,
something.
different. But it's still a conversation to be workshopped. All right, next item on the agenda. Approval of resolution CRA-R 2024, the Four Roots Global Market. Ms. Kim move.
Second.
Oh, and you have to read the, hold on.
That's on the floor. No, but not. There were votes on the floor.
So you got.
Resolution 2024-16, a resolution of the Board of Directors, Town of Edenville Community Redevelopment Agency, TOCRA, Edenville Florida Board of Directors, Four Roots Mobile Market, providing for conflicts, severability, and effective date.
You've heard the resolution. Is there a motion?
Move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. On favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. All opposed.
This might get one of the date, maybe we're ready to go there, but no, it's fine. So it's gonna start in May. It's gonna be the fourth Wednesday. Flyers will go out on utility bill next week. So it'll be the fourth Wednesday of every month from 3 to 6 in the parking lot of the CRA building. So now that it's officially approved, everyone will get flyers in the mail. And this is just a start. This is a way to get access for fresh produce to the residents here in the town of Edenville. The CRA is still exploring the opportunity for a larger farmers market, but this is an easier way for us to partner with Four Roots, who's actually in this community. They have a building here on West Kennedy, on West Kennedy. What?
All right, final item on the agenda, resolution CRA-R 2024-12.
Resolution CRA-R 2024-12, a resolution of the Board of Directors, Town of Edenville Community Redevelopment Agency, TOCRA, Edenville, Florida Board of Directors approving an artist, their submission, entering into a mural agreement to complete a mural on the Town of Edenville pool hall and covering the cost of the supplies and equipment, providing for conflict, severability, and
You want to add something before?
No.
All right, so, you've heard the motion. I mean, you've heard the resolution. Is there a motion?
So
Second. Second, I do have a question. This group, is this the same group that did the wall in Elizabeth Park?
From my understanding, yes. Thank you.
Okay, so when I look at that, I think that wall was done, what, 4 or 5 years ago? And it's standing. I just want to make certain that they are familiar with, that's all I want to make sure of. Because Lord knows we don't want to start killing them. But that wall has been holding up pretty well. The other thing is in regards to, I see they need a scaffolding and all of that.
That's the $2,500 that covers equipment and supplies, so they're donating their time, and, it's up to $2,500 is what's included for the actual supplies.
Okay, liability.
They have to provide their own insurance. Then the funding, it's in the mutual agreement.
We are here in the room in case you have any questions. Excuse me. The artist.
I guess my question is, says when the public works, one reason they don't use the, you know how they cut them down, you have to go up on the, that cut, that's against the policy, they can only go up so high. So my question is, since it's for the town, it's on the property, like how are we making sure that we stay within in that
The wall side,
the height from the ground up, there's,
it's a little higher than that. I mean, we didn't get
That
that
may be
approved.
so,
We
but
didn't get that approved, so.
I'm asking
So that was,
I'm asking a question.
yeah, I understand, but that
I'm
was,
asking-
the wall, that's not, this year high. What you, scalpel?
I guess about 6 feet, that would make sense, or I'm not. So to me, it is higher.
So the artist representative is in the room if you have specific questions as far as scaffolding.
I mean, sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't wanna miss.
To the mic. Hello, state your name.
Hi, my name is Mariah Roman, and I'm a curator, muralist, visual artist. Worked a lot in this town, grew up in this area, so Eatonville is very near to me. I spent a lot of my childhood here. So I'm a curator, one of the artists that were part of the Rise project. Mr. Saint, he's one of the artists that submitted for the project. So I'm here if you guys want to have any questions about manual scaffolds. Just in case if he's getting any top area, just so he can comfortably work, because when you're on a ladder, it is it's manual, so he can actually kind of level himself up and comfortably work. Because that ladder kind of creates more of a liability. He may fall. If it's like on the wall, it could damage the wall. So having a scaffold allows you to kind of like, comfortably work. And, so we want to make sure that he's safe while he does it, especially if he's waiving his liability. And just making sure that he's comfortable as he's creating this piece. But he is comfortable with doing a ladder. So if it comes down to it where he, if there's a lot of policy against that, when it comes to scaffolding, he's willing to work on a ladder. You want to come up as well?
Wait,
And
that-
speak?
that wasn't my question. I
Oh, okay,
understood the purpose.
Oh, the purpose.
I was more talking about the liability to the town when you use the, I don't know what it's called.
It's an electric lift.
Yes.
Oh, electric.
Over a certain, but the same concept, over a certain height. So if we just check into that, in regards to the insurance. That was my only question.
For sure. So yeah, he's willing, he's very flexible with using a ladder.
No, yeah, that wasn't a question.
It's a thing, it's
That
an
was your
internal,
question.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah, we can talk about that in full detail, but if y'all had any questions about the actual blueprint, he's here and you guys can direct the comment to it. If he needs to add anything, we're willing to table that and talk about it in a different time. But yeah, did you want to speak towards it? Did you guys have any questions towards it?
No, none of someone had questions.
Yeah, essentially, we just want to create something beautiful for the youth, for families here. It's really, really beautiful that they're coming back. So we're excited to help with that effort, so.
For your piece, man? Oh, you have an example of his piece.
Wait, hold on. We got to.
So if you like to see Mel,
Wait, we're not gonna speak. for-
okay, sorry.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed.
Hey,
Nay, all right, nay.
Yes.
So that is the last item on the agenda, staff report.
So tonight, I'm going to give you all a 100-day update, what I did hand out before the meeting started. So when I started, I did not have the opportunity to do a CRA plan because that week I was headed to Tallahassee for the museum pitch. But before you have what my intentions were when I first started. Several of the items that are crossed out are things that have already happened. There are notes in red, but I'm gonna give an actual presentation, clerk.
Ready?
That board.
You go to, you go quick. I'll say when it's not. You can stop. So since becoming the executive director, we have funded, well, prior to today's meeting, we had funded 4 programs. Small business facade, mission assistance, paint, plan and pave, and the street dinner program. We have received inquiry about the small business facade. We received our first application this evening for the demolition assistance. We have approved 1 paint, plan and pave program with 5 in the queue. And the street banner program, we did receive the pole arms to replace the ones that are not existing. I intended of going into the month of June, and I anticipate that going into the month of June, the Juneteenth, that we will have individuals who are seeking to put banners up. You can go to the next. So, since being director, I have attended stakeholders meetings. I have been to the Eatonville Chamber of Commerce events. We had the blood pressure cuff event at the library. The community action plan meetings, attended Easter egg hunt here in the town. The Business of the Month Awards, attended and spoke for the Legacy of Change Women's event. There have been community walks with directors and administrators to determine areas of improvement and community awareness of programs. And we've hosted conversations with law enforcement, with Central Florida Urban League, the Eatonville Police Department, and the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Since this was created, we have added, there are a few other things that, obviously today's meeting, we accomplished a lot, and added more to community presence. You can go on to the next slide. And so just some pictures, you can go back, just some pictures of recent events. Conversations with Law Enforcement is a program done through the Urban League to allow our youth positively engage and bridge the gap with law enforcement and the youth. It was hosted at the Boys and Girls Club, came out for the Eatonville Easter egg hunt, met with director and several of the directors. And as you can see, this is when 4 Roots came out to show us what the bus looks like. And that's so you all can see what the bus will look like when it comes and it's in front of the CRA building on the 4th Wednesday. We'll go to the next slide. So there are currently, when I first started, we were in limbo with several programs that we had partnerships with or that we had funding with. Since that time, the Weatherization Assistance Program has been reactivated with Osceola Council on Aging. To date, they have received 1 application in the process of completing. I have requested that Osceola Council, we do an interview with the resident who did receive the assistance, so we can let residents know it's a real program that does exist. When I started, there was limbo with the circuit / Club Eden / Club Heroes / Club Cola. It's had a lot of names through the years. We had received $1 million grants from the Florida Historical Department. Since that time, we have been awarded the first phase, which is $250,000. The owner and I are in the process of working on the demolition, asbestos remediation, and then we will move forward with architecture and engineering. There is question about the BJA community grant, but I will still bring it up. CRA has been actively, there's some questions about who the grant is awarded to. So since I started, we were working on the BJA grant. We refined the budget to receive $1 million to do community policing activities, as well as build a community room over in the Francis Sherry Park. There's another grant. You can go to the next slide. There's another grant. So here are the other grants. We are going to Tallahassee. I leave after this meeting to head to Tallahassee. For those who don't know, we ranked number 2 of 8 proposals for the Black History Museum. So tomorrow we go for a question and answer session. The great news is that we have worked collaboratively and we've gotten agreement for the 10 acres of land, and we're in process with that. So that would be part of what we'll be pitching tomorrow and letting the task force know that, we do have permission to move forward with the 10 acres of the land for the museum. Other grant applications that have been submitted by the CRA. So there is a big piece of concrete, right off of Town Hall. It's a park. It was created as a park, so the concrete just is there. Keep America Beautiful has a grant opportunity for, and I submitted for an MLK statue to go there, including, flowers and lighting. So waiting to hear back. The CRA, as you all know, the CRA is now in the town because there are several issues at the CRA building. Last week I submitted for a $407,000 renovation at the CRA building, which would include creating a business incubator space. We have commitment from Career Source to become a partner to create workforce opportunities within the town of Eatonville. It will also allow those individuals who need a space, who need what is classified as an e-space, so individuals who may work from home, who need a place to lease when they're having meetings, to have a professional setting. That's the goal for the CRA building, to become a business incubator, as well as my office back over there. In the process, as far as grant applications, so back in 2019, 2020, GAI and Rhodes and Brito was hired to do a conceptual master plan for Kennedy, as well as a museum, the Denton Johnson Center, and another town hall building. It was done under the CRA. We are in the process. The town of Eatonville is incorporated in the Vision Zero plan that was contracted by Orange County government. And so the CRA is in the process of, once we finish Vision Zero, looking at the master plan that was done for West Kennedy and figuring out how we can create a safer Kennedy Boulevard. As you all know, West Kennedy is being expanded, and we would like to see some of the same enhancements such as bike lanes, lighting, and tree shrubberies. We'd like to see that on the east side as well. So it'd be a continual process in increasing and enhancing lighting. So once Vision Zero is done, the intent is for the CRA to work on the Kennedy Boulevard streetscape, which would include the opportunity for more parking spaces, because parking spaces is a struggle, specifically on the east side. Actually the whole Kennedy Boulevard. And so we could move on to the next slide. Here is an image of what the CRA building would look like. And that was what was submitted for the CDBG grant. Move on to the next. Okay, so one of the goals have already, so here are the projected goals for the CRA. The first one has already been taken care of. The farmers market truck will be here fourth Wednesday of every month from 3 to 6 starting next month. There is affordable housing ownership opportunity that the CRA will work with and collaborate with the town of Eatonville. So that if there needs to be a cohesive plan and down payment assistance, et cetera, we'll be looking into that. Red Cross, so is my understanding, years ago, Red Cross had come into the town and did not do the whole town for sound the alarm. Sound the alarm is when they come and they inspect homes and replace fire alarms and smoke detectors inside of homes. So it's my understanding when it was done initially, the Red Cross did not do the entire town of Eatonville. So in full disclosure, I am a Red Cross board member for the Central Florida. So I reached out and asked the board if we can host a sound the alarm in the entire town of Eatonville. We are placed on the calendar for February 2025. It may seem like it's far, but other cities, when you're dealing with free labor, so to speak, because everyone volunteers in collaboration, and you have to partner with the fire department. So we are scheduled for February of 2025. We will start marketing this roughly in October of this year to let residents know to sign up. We will place flyers and utility bills, and we'll do as much messaging as possible to get the word out. And so those who are here in attendance, who may be part of the town, who may represent the town, I'm letting you all know that February of 2025, there will be a sound the alarm. So let your neighbors know to be aware of the flyer coming. 2022, Hurricane Ian hit the region, and there are portions of the town that did flood. So the CRA is looking at the opportunity and the potential to apply for CDBG disaster relief fund that would include stormwater, My wonderful director Daniels is always talking about infrastructure. So the goal is to look at the opportunity to apply for CDBG disaster relief funds. And with that, currently the Denton Johnson Center is housed as our EOC, which is Emergency Operations Center. So should there be an emergency, should there be a hurricane, that is where the town of Eatonville's hub is. So with that, there's a potential to apply to upgrade Denton Johnson. I received the opportunity with a group called Ideas for Us to be part of a grant application to install 20 trees around the town. And the organization will provide a 3-year maintenance. We will know more next month if we're able to receive the opportunity. The goal is to ensure, because the CRA's responsibility is to ensure that every dollar that we receive is allocated to a different program. The goal is to continue to work towards creating programs and or funding programs that already exist so that all funds are allocated. Keeping in mind that funds can always be moved from one line item to another line item, but the goal of the CRA is not to hold funds, but to have them allocated to work on projects. I promise this is the last one. The CRA is set to sunset in 2027, as well as we are currently working off the 1997 by law. We are working off the 1997 redevelopment plan, which causes we have to make things work. So the goal is the 2015 plan that was done by GAI, where we have already started the process, find out how much it's going to cost for them to update the plan and then request an extension from Orange County. Currently, the other municipalities are only receiving a 10-year extension. So that is what we'll be looking at if we're to move forward. And that's the end of my promise. That's the 100 days as fast as possible.
Thank you. The report, the right to vote.
I would just like to say, I'm glad we approved the demo of 225 West. Definitely is also within the community. Definitely, once it's demoed, the CRA from any liability that can happen per se. And two is an excellent opportunity. I think it's 2 residential lots on that property. I'm trying to.
The back is residential and the front is commercial.
But there's opportunity. The lot is large enough to fit 2 homes.
Well, there you go. I know Mr. Daniels talked about a home for a veteran. There's an opportunity. So look at from that standpoint, Mr. Daniels, as I know you feel this kind of way on that side, but you do some on the other side. So that's opportunity there. Ms. Shea, I'm gonna just say one thing. I'm used to getting financial reports. I don't know what's going on since I just came on the board. Just give us a little update on in that regard. It's audit time for the CRA. I don't know if we completed that. Okay. So I guess things like that, just to keep us abreast on that, because like I said, we're in the dark. We allocate money here and there. We have it. You know what I mean? So we need to know. So that's from that standpoint, that's it.
That's it.
Further question would be to legal, Mr. Jackson. Do we have any litigation against the CRA at the time?
No litigation against the CRA at this time. I will say, however, that we myself, Ms. Rose, as well as the town clerk recently were asked to provide some public records as relates to a meeting from 2022. But there's no pending litigation as it relates to the CRA.
I think this will be my last question for you also. If you can, please shoot me an email on your availability where we can sit down and have a conversation.
Yes, sir.
That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Also piggybacking on what Director Williams said, I'm accustomed to having a monthly report in terms of finance. So Ms. Sharon, if you can provide that to me as far as the expenditures also in terms of where we stand, that would be great. I appreciate it also. If you can email it to me or just give it to me, I'll cover how you do it. Thank everybody for just coming out and being engaged in our CRA. I think it's very important that we get more people to come out and be accustomed to what's going on in the community. So if anybody know anybody that lives in the community and, you know, are just looking for, you know, some kind of, you know, understanding of what exactly is going on in this town, please convince them and influence them to come out, please. I welcome that, just as well as everybody else, I'm sure. Also, I just want to give a great appreciation to the artists that, are having their time, you know, to come out here. I want to do something, to the magnitude that you guys are doing. And I see the scope of work, you guys do fantastic work. And I just want to give you guys your flowers for just, you know, considering coming over here and want to pour back into the community. Of Eatonville, especially with the one piece that's gonna go on that wall, on that pool. Especially with us already in a position to open up on May 25th, that's gonna definitely resonate with, the community. It's gonna be good for the kids, just to see that artwork, because it amazes me to see it, so I'm pretty sure they'll be definitely thrilled to see that. And, I think that's pretty much, my report. Thank you.
Director Daniels.
Yes, good evening, everyone. You are absolutely correct, Board Member Williams. I think the major purpose of the CRA board is to eliminate slum and blight, and to also say to Board Member Randolph as well, like, I agree totally with the demolition of the house. My name would have been in purpose of letting the family do it. I think that we are always trying to find a win-win situation with it. And like I said before, I understood what I may not agree with, but I understood what the former executive director was doing and trying to save the property for the town meeting. I just felt like a couple of things wasn't right. The mental capacity that we could debate all day on Mr. Dixon. And also the legitimacy of that board. It was a 3-member board, not 5. If you remember, I think one member was trying to go, but she couldn't. So it's a lot of things in the deal that wasn't, let's say, correct at the time of the deal. So therefore, it would eliminate the deal being a legitimate deal, because both sides wasn't legitimate in what they were doing and getting this process done. So I do agree with the demolition. I do agree that the purpose of the CRA is to eliminate slum and blight. I just feel like that family wasn't given the opportunity. Now, the win-win in that is that we give it and we can't give it back, according to the attorney by law. Okay, we agree to that. But it doesn't seem we can't sell it back to them and recoup the monies that we lost. Now there are 11,000 with the demolition and whatever other fees from filing and everything, the titles and all like that. We can get that back from the family and let them make the decision on what they would do. I think it's a win-win. We're not losing, and we're giving that family the opportunity, knowing that their family members, their loved ones, their elderly, let's say mentally challenged relative was not given the opportunity to let the family make that decision for him. All right. So that's where we are in that situation. And I've always asked for a investigation so it would ease my mind. Or didn't want to do it because I think it would be some intricate things that are revealed that would say, well, wait a minute now, let's look at this thing all over. You know what I'm saying? See what's done correct. Now I've been asking for it, but I haven't gotten it. So that's neither here nor there. And we'll move on. Executive Director, you said that we are under the bylaws of 1997 bylaws for the town.
We don't have the current redevelopment plan.
I thought you said bylaws of the
So not the bylaws, sorry, redevelopment
Okay,
plan.
'cause I was about to say, we did that in 2017, so, okay, so we're there. Thank you everyone for coming out and have a good night.
Director Washington,
No report.
Vice Chair.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. One of the things, I had on I do have this on as a priority, for tonight. We were talking about the local vendors. That was something I was gonna bring up anyway. Because I do remember sometime last year it was discussed about, do we have a vendors list? Different categories, if we need someone for certain services, those contractors are available. And the answer to that was yes, but now I understand now that we do not have that. Is that what?
I've asked for one since I started January 2nd and I have not received one today.
Okay, so I think what we need to do is to start compiling one so that way we have it. And also, I would like to, and I talked about this last year to a couple people, business owners that I met. I made a personal visit to all of the businesses down on the West End of the building, of the town on West Kennedy. And surprisingly, they have some awesome services here in Eatonville that we have no idea what they have to offer. So I would like for you, Ms. Rose, I had mentioned this to you 2 weeks ago. That I'd like to introduce a business expo for all of our businesses to come out. And that way they can share what they do and invite the community to come out so we can see what businesses we have here in the town. Because most of us are just basically familiar with the businesses from St. Lawrence down to the store there on Jones Boulevard. So we need to be inclusive of all of these businesses that we have in the town. They do great things. Also, I would like to get a email presentation for what you presented on your 100 day. If you can send it to me. And also another thing here that I thought about when I left here, but I wasn't very pleased, even though the election for the CRA chairperson was on Tuesday night. Prior to leading up to that, I was informed that the chairperson of the CRA position was going to come forward to the floor because we have a new council member. So even though Mayor Gardner was elected as the chairperson of the CRA, at that particular time, I was the vice chair. So I'm kind of confused on the information. Was this handled correctly? Because it was given to us when we came to the meeting, but it was not in the packet as a council person. We should have something like that, should have already been in the package, but it wasn't. It became upon us when we came to the meeting that night. So let me just finish. With that, I'm going to return to Attorney Jackson. According to the bylaws, and I know that was in the council meeting, according to the bylaws, what is the proper procedures? Because I was in the chair as vice chair of the CRA. And we did have a vacancy because we had one member who was not elected to his position, to that position, which he formerly was the CRA chairperson. So I know we have 2 attorneys that may have different interpretations, but I want to go by what the bylaw says. Yes, can you refer to the bylaws, please?
My interpretation or my reading of the bylaws is that the election for the chair and the vice chair, though handled on or through the governing body, is handled annually, and that it is either the last meeting, special or regular meeting of the year. And that's the only time that a chair or vice chair can be elected. That's my reading of it. Now, I understand that it happens on the governing body side, but in my reading of it, my reading is that the vice chair, if the chair is no longer present, becomes the chair. But then it leaves a conflict of who is the vice chair. My recommendation was going to be for this board is that instead of making the election of the chair and the vice chair the final day of the year, to make it closer to coalesce with the timing of an election. And then that way it would resolve that circumstance and situation, because around the time of an election, then the board can determine, the governing body can determine who the chair and vice chair will be. And this issue would not come up because this is probably going to become an issue again. So that was going to be my recommendation in light of how I read it. And I have to defer to the governing body because they're the ones who ultimately elect the chair and the vice chair. But my recommendation is going to be to align the appointment or the election of the chair and the vice chair closer to an election so that this would not be an issue in the future.
Okay, now let me be clear. Right, including the board. Mayor, I do not have an issue with you being the chair of the CRA. I don't have an issue with that. I just want to make my point is that to make sure that whatever we do, that we're doing things accordingly to the law. And according to the bylaws, that's my point. It's not about me being a chair or vice chair, it's the procedures to make sure that we're following the proper procedures. And I just want you to know that I do not have an issue. It's not about you and it's not about me. It's about the procedures. Make sure it's correct.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank you very much for the artists. Thank you, and thank everyone for coming. Thank you.
So I just want to be clear, because the same thing happened on March 15, 2022, when Vice Chair Washington was the chair, I became mayor. And this conversation wasn't, so it was the exact same, it was the same situation. So if this would have been any different, the second thing, I thought it would have been automatically put on the agenda. However, and I was gonna wait until the next election, not election, the next meeting, but I said, we need to go ahead and get it done. So that's why it was last minute, or after the agenda second. So I apologize.
Thank you.
In regards to the resolution that was passed and the concern, my intention is not to butt heads at all, although sometimes we will, but if out of a workshop, we can relook at the resolution and the program and make it better from that workshop, then by all means, I want us to do so. So, but in the meantime, we do have it funded, because we were in a path of fighting to get something approved, then fighting to get it funded, and I think we got to stop that. So if before we do anything with that program, I would like for those workshops to be established so we can go deeper into this and you can tell more about what you think would be better, because that would be fair if everyone is okay with that. The other clarification that I would like for the town, I know that positions, this is for the power of the director. It's my understanding that the director is over all staff. So anyone that works for the CRA or anyone that's even through interlocal agreement, if they're doing work for the CRA, it's all under the director.
That is correct.
That is correct. So every position is under the director.
For the CRA, sir.
For the CRA, correct. So I will be getting with the director because I do think that we need to make some changes. But I'm gonna get with her first, just to make certain that other things are in order. But we'll have more said about that at a later date. With that being said, I move for adjournment. Second. It's been moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed. All right, say those seven, being adjourned.